mai ka ko e nā hoa maka maka mai ka la iki a ka la kau. A velina nui me ke aloha. Mahalo nui no ke a poko ana o ka ko na ka pono o ka la hui. Ka pono o ka aina a me ka pono o ka vai no hoi e ahe o lalo no e ao e kalele ana I ke ko'i o ka vai a me ka aina ke kahi. Ka ua po'o nui o ke kuahiwi. The big-headed rain of the mountain. The Ava rain, which falls in fine, icy cold drops that makes one's head appear white. This is for all of the rain that we wish for in this time of drought. It has been rainy the last couple of days, but that's the kind of fine rain that we need to recharge our aquifers. So wanted to leave us with this for this last meeting of the year. Aloha, everyone. Welcome to today's December 25th, 2025, last regular meeting of the Honolulu Board of Water Supply of the year. Before beginning today's meeting, I'd like to state that our board is dedicated to providing safe, dependable, and affordable water now and into the future. At this time, we'd like to share a brief recording with reminders on public participation, as well as virtual meeting regulations for board members as required by law.
Materials for this meeting under HRS Section 92-7.5 are accessible at boardofwatersupply.com/boardmeetings. The public may attend this meeting in person at the BWS Public Service Building, located at 630 South Beretania Street. The public may also view a live stream of today's meeting on our website at boardofwatersupply.com/live. We have been accepting written or oral testimony for today's meeting. Instructions and an online submittal form are available at boardofwatersupply.com/testimony. The deadline to submit advanced written testimony has passed. Testimony received by noon today have been distributed to the board members. We will continue to accept written testimony today through our online form. Oral testimony in person or remotely will be accepted during today's meeting. To facilitate as much in-person and remote testimony as reasonably possible during the time allotted, pre-registration and submittal of a written version of testimony at boardofwatersupply.com/testimony is strongly encouraged. To testify in person, please register using our online form or come to the Public Service Building at 630 South Beretania Street. We have a representative in the lobby to provide intake and further instructions. To request to testify remotely, please complete the online form at boardofwatersupply.com/testimony. Requesters will receive an email containing links and instructions to join the Zoom session. Testifiers will have 2 minutes to state their position. A timekeeper will alert testifiers when there is 1 minute remaining. Once the 2 minutes are up, please summarize to allow time for questions from the board. Then, make room for the next testifier. Board members attending any board meeting remotely must be visible to the public to be considered present and meet quorum guidelines. Board members participating remotely must also disclose their location and anyone present at their location during roll call. Meeting participants who are calling or video conferencing in, please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. If you have a question, comment, or wish to enter or second a motion on an action item, please unmute your microphone and identify yourself before continuing to speak. If you encounter technical issues during today's meeting, please use the Zoom chat to send a direct message to our support team. Their names are listed in the message to all participants. To open the chat window, please click on the text bubble icon on the Zoom toolbar.
All right, and one correction I'd like to make for the notes. Today is the 15th, not the 25th. And Ernie Lau is not Santa Claus. At this time, we'd like to share a brief recording. Sorry, I did that already. Thank you. Let's take a moment to take a roll call of the board members. When I call your name, please say aye. And if attending remotely, make the appropriate disclosures. I will start with board member Lance Wilhelm.
Hey, yo, Lance Wilhelm. I'm in my office in Honolulu alone with my door closed. Thank you.
Aloha, Lance. Thanks for joining us today. Board member Jean Albano.
Aloha, everyone. I'm in my office as well, with the door closed.
Hello, Jean. Thank you for joining us. In the boardroom with me today are board members, both Vice Chair Jonathan Kanashiro.
Aye.
Aloha, Jonathan. As well as new board member Jeffrey Laupola. Aloha, Jeff.
Hello. Hi.
We just have a small gift for you on behalf of the board and the staff here, as long as Kim does not injure anyone here. Thank you for your service and for joining us in this long endeavor. Thank you. Absent today and excused is board member Edwin Sniffen. Also in the room with us today, Manager Ernie Lau. Aloha. Aloha, Ernie. Deputy Manager Erwin Kawata. Here. Aloha. Corporation Counsel Jeff Lau is with us in person, I believe. Aloha, Jeff. Manager Secretary Kim Kwai. Aloha, Kim. Board Secretary Joy Cruz Achu.
Here.
Aloha. Information Specialist Wayne Maria. Here. And then joining us by Zoom is our other Corp Counsel, Jessica Wong. And both of them, both Jeff and Jessica, are from the City and County Corp Counsel Department. One other adjustment I'd like to make today, there's no executive session today. I think we're still waiting on some of the notes to come back. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. We have 3 items on our action agenda today. Starting with item number 1, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held October 27th, 2025. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. John has moved. Is there a second?
I will second it.
Thank you. Jean has seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair. Vice Chair Jonathan Conachero.
Aye.
Board Member Lance Wilhelm.
Aye.
Board Member Jeffrey Laupula.
Aye. Sorry, you got to abstain. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Abstain.
Board Member Gina Vano.
Aye.
And Chair Namegu Anthony.
Aye.
Chair motion passes with 4 ayes and 1 abstention.
Thank you. Please note for the record. Moving on to item number 2, adoption of resolution 1006, 2025, providing for the acquisition of lot 3164 by eminent domain statute situate at Honolulu, Ewa, Oahu, tax map key 9-1-031 sub 008. Chair recognizes Michael Matsuo. Aloha, Michael.
Hello, Chair. Good afternoon, members. My name is Mike Matsuo. I'm the Administrator for the Land Division here at the Board of Water Supply. Today, we are recommending the adoption of Resolution Number 1006-2025, authorizing initiation of proceedings in eminent domain for the acquisition of Lot 3164. Lot 3164 is owned by Hawaii MMGD LLC, a Maryland Limited Liability Company, and is commonly referred to as Olai Street, which is a partially paved and unpaved road. This lot will provide access to and support the development of a seawater desalination facility that is resilient to climate change, environmentally sustainable, and consistent with the EVA Development Plan's directed growth policies. The resolution was introduced at the October 27, 2025 meeting of this board and was subsequently published in the Honolulu Star Advertiser on November 17, 2025 as required by law. I'd like to read the resolution for you now. Board of Water Supply, City and County of Honolulu, resolution number 1006-2025, providing for the acquisition of lot 3164 by eminent domain situated at Honolulu, Ewa, Honolulu, Oahu, Hawaii. Oh, I'm sorry, Honolulu should be struck in from there. It's removed. Yeah, it's removed. Okay. Tax map key 9-1-031, parcel 8. Be it resolved by the Board of Water Supply, City and County of Honolulu. 1, that for public use and purposes to provide access to and support the development, operation, and maintenance of a seawater desalination facility that is resilient to climate change, environmentally sustainable, and consistent with the EVA Development Plan's directed growth policies. Proceedings in eminent domain as provided by the law be instituted for the acquisition of the subject real property described in the attached Exhibit A to the resolution and shown on Exhibit B, also attached to the resolution, which by this reference are incorporated herein and made a part hereof. The acquisition of the foregoing real property by eminent domain is deemed necessary for the aforesaid public use and purposes. 2, that the Corporation Counsel of the City and County of Honolulu or such litigation counsel as the Board of Water Supply may employ pursuant to Section 7-116 of the revised Charter, City and County of Honolulu, 1973, amended 2017 edition, shall be and is hereby authorized and empowered to institute and carry out said proceedings in the name and on behalf of the Board of Water Supply and the City and County of Honolulu. The Corporation Council or such litigation council shall be and is hereby further authorized and empowered to negotiate terms of any settlement subject to the approval of the Board of Water Supply and or the court before which such proceedings are commenced. Resolution was introduced by Chair Na'alea Anthony, October 27th. You can see there the votes was almost unanimous except for the one board member who was absent. Copies of the resolution were available in the manager's office for anyone to see, and today we bring it to you to adopt for adoption. Exhibit A describes lot 3164, which is 4.87 acres and situated at Honolulu, Oahu, Hawaii, in the James Campbell Industrial Park. It is shown on map 325, filed in the office of the Assistant Registrar of the Land Court of the State of Hawaii, with Land Court application 1069. And as you can see there, Exhibit B shows Olai Street, which starts at the terminus of Kalaeloa Boulevard and proceeds in a easterly direction towards the former Naval Air Station Barbers Point. Available for any questions.
Members, any questions?
Can you remind, did we do an offer letter to?
Yes,
We
we
did, right?
sent a letter to the attorneys for Hawaii MMGD.
Yeah. It was like over.
We sent it in October, mid-October.
Okay, so there's no change to like market value or?
No, the market value is based on the
Appraisal.
appraisal that we did. The owners are actually conducting their own appraisal.
Yeah.
It's being conducted by Lesher Chi Stadbauer Inc.
Yeah.
And I checked today and they said that they estimate that it should be available by the end of this month.
And that'll just all go through the process though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So maybe just as a little bit of follow-up to John's question. So they have not come back with any new information for us as we enter into this process.
Yeah.
And can this process be interrupted at any point if they have more information through their appraisal and say, okay, this is what we think it's worth?
Yes, I believe they can. I will defer to Jeff though on that.
Okay, okay.
Hey, Jeff Law, Deputy Corporation Counsel. Yes, the process can be interrupted at any time
Okay.
before the hearing.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Jeff. Lance or Gene, any questions?
None for me.
Okay. Jeff, you okay?
I saw the meeting last time. I know you guys went into executive session. I guess my question is, is there anything substantial that came out of that I should be tracking?
I don't think we can discuss the content of the executive session in open meeting.
Yeah, I don't recall any substantial.
Yeah, I don't want.
Yeah. Like there wasn't any substantial information. I think it was I think the question here that came up last time was like there was this conversation that took place over several months, maybe years, and then it kind of ended. And so I think it was like staff was hoping that we would get to a place where they could figure out just what the terms would be.
Sure.
And then it kind of just dropped off. And because there's all of this, correct me if I'm wrong, right? There's all this federal money that's there, as well as the timing for the contractor to try to get onto the site, of which they've been using the road previously because they had a right of entry from.
We have an easement.
When we acquired the Kalaeloa parcel, it came together with an access easement
Yeah.
that was initially granted to the Navy by Campbell Estate. But when we acquired the parcel, we were able to use that same easement. And that easement is in the same, was over lot 3164, the entire length and depth width of 3164. So we can use the road to get to the desalination plant site.
And we can install some utilities in that
We
road.
also got an easement from Campbell Estate because when Campbell Estate sold all those properties in the area, they did reserve to themselves the right to grant utility, drainage, and access easements.
But we won't be able to make final improvements to the roadway to
Yeah,
widen
the
it.
easement just allows us to put in a water line and for Hawaii Electric to put in utilities, but it doesn't allow us to make any improvements to the road itself.
Okay, thank you for the background.
Okay.
And so we're in a place where we have to move forward with this part of the process just based on how the information and the conversation has stopped.
Well, the owners, lawyers did tell us that the owners are amenable to conveying the property to more water supply. However, at this point, they still need to do their due diligence, determine its impact of selling the lot to its other properties,
Okay,
and also do their own appraisal to determine the
And
value.
in previously in discussions with the owners through their attorney, there were some objectionable conditions or requirements that we cannot live with.
right.
So by the board taking this action, it gives us this as an alternative. However, if we're able to reach a amenable compromise here, that we can be satisfied that the interests of our ratepayers are protected and that their needs are satisfied. And we can actually forego having to go for this process. But I think it's important that the board consider adopting this resolution because like the chair said, the project could be substantially delayed from completion.
Okay. Any other comments, questions?
I so maybe there could be a conclusion where we don't have to or go forward with eminent domain, you know, if the timeline is such that we could settle on something that,
Yes, the adoption of the resolution will give us that option.
yeah, that's the goal, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Thank you, John. Okay, so is there a motion to adopt resolution 1006/2025, providing for the acquisition of lot 3164 by eminent domain situate at Honouliuli, Ewa, Oahu, Hawaii, tax map key 9-1-031 sub 008. Thank you. So moved by John.
Second,
That's been seconded by Lance. Roll call vote, please, Joy.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair Jonathan Kanashiro, Board Member Lance Wilhelm,
aye.
Board Member Jeffrey Lopola,
Aye.
Board Member Gina Albano,
I,
and Chair Nale Anthony.
Aye.
Chair motion passes with 5 ayes.
Thank you, and thank you to staff for all the hard work on this important effort. This is, like I said, I think in one of the last meetings, like the talk of desal was like one of the talking points that Tom's gave us when I was an intern here 30 years ago. And so it's like, it's important to understand the time space in which we've been working to get this across the finish line. And so I'm really, really thankful to staff to, all the hard work that we've been doing to get this done. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. And also thank you to Barry Usugawa, who is the project manager for this project. And we're not backing down here.
Barry was here 30 years ago, just out of high school too, just with me.
Indeed.
Thank you. On to item number 3. Adoption of resolution 1007/2025, resolution of appreciation for former board member Brian P. Andaya. Chair recognizes the manager.
Thank you, Chair. This resolution is to honor our former board member, Brian Andaya. He served on the Board of Water Supply now for over 10 years, so a little over 10 years. I really appreciate, I've had the honor and privilege to serve with him, serve the Board of Water Supply. So I'm just going to read this resolution now. Whereas Brian P. Andaya has ably served as a member of the Board of Water Supply, City and County of Honolulu since September 2015, and as chair from September 16 to June 2016 to June 2023, and his term has come to an end. And whereas Mr. Andaya's work as an attorney and an owner of Andaya Consulting LLC and the Andaya Real Estate Continuing Education School, and as a partner with ES&A, a law corporation, and as the former Chief Operations Officer of L&L Franchise, Inc. His other board memberships and his prominence in the community have brought additional recognition and esteem for the board. And whereas this board has greatly benefited from Brian Andaya's legal knowledge and familiarity with operational and administrative issues, when as chair, He adeptly guided the board and the department through extraordinary challenges and significant accomplishments, including the BWS's response to the Red Hill above fuel storage facility contamination release, board adoption of the 30-year water master plan, extensive revision of the water rate structure, live streaming of board meetings, transfer of Haiku stairs to the city, and the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas throughout his term as chair and board member, Mr. Andaya has staunchly defended the board BWS's semi-autonomous governance model, supported and encouraged initiatives that improve day-to-day operations, and volunteered his time and expertise to help plan and effect business and policy decisions for the board that will positively impact the direction and operations of the Board of Water Supply for many years to come. And whereas his dedicated service as a board member is a testament to his firm commitment to maintaining a municipal water system deserving of trust from the public it serves, now therefore be it resolved by the members of the Board of Water Supply, City and County of Honolulu, that we do hereby express to Brian Andaya our deep appreciation and respect for his steadfast service and leadership of this board and department. And be it further resolved that member of this board extend to Brian P. Andaya our sincere gratitude and best wishes for continuing success in all his endeavors. And be it finally resolved that this resolution be presented to Brian P. Andaya. Back to you, Chair.
Yeah, well, Brian, we want to just go around if there's any comments, and then I'm going to open the floor to you if that's okay. Members, any comments or anything you'd like to say? John?
Yeah, thanks, Brian, for everything. I think when I first joined a couple years ago, I was really new to this, and I appreciate you kind of taking me under your wing and showing me, you know, what this is all about. I think you guided the board in a great direction, as a testament to where we are today. I don't think we could be in a better place, operationally as far as our internal. We have a lot of challenges ahead, but I think from, you know, your leadership, you know, we're ready to take that on and continue your legacy. So, yeah, thank you.
Gene?
Yeah, thanks. Kudos to you, Brian. Similar to Jonathan, I came in 2.5 years ago, not really understanding the importance of the Board of Water Supply, Board of Directors. You took me under your wing to really get me up to speed as quickly as possible, especially with Red Hill being such an important issue. And so I do want to appreciate all the guidance you gave me, and so wishing you well on your future endeavors, and I'm sure I'll see you somewhere if it's not in the boardroom. So thank you.
Lance?
Sure. I wish I had known Brian was gonna be there so I could embarrass him personally, be there with him. From this vantage point, I cannot see his face, but I know he's smirking because he's leaving, and I wish he would knock it off and stop looking so happy for leaving. But my only regret is that I didn't get to spend more time with Brian on this board. We crossed paths for only a brief time, but I know the dedication he put into it and how much he cares about what we do. And so for that, you know, I'm grateful, and the people of Honolulu are grateful. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, and taking off of that, Brian, like, just huge thanks. I mean, you know, Jeff mentioned today, he's like, oh, it's the first meeting, and it's like, you know, he sits down, and I realized, like, my first meeting was on Zoom, and we were right in the middle of COVID, and there was all this upheaval because of that, and then right from that upheaval came Red Hill and all of the challenges that came with that. And, you know, you sat here and you, with a steady hand, made sure that we had all the tools we needed to move the thing forward. So, you know, I want to thank you, and I want to Thank you for your service, especially because you thought she was off the hook all those months ago. And then we said, no, you gotta stay. And, you know, we just, we want to express our thanks for, you know, not only the two 5-year terms, but, you know, for staying on as well and seeing this through. So we appreciate it. And I want to just turn the floor over to you, you know, if you could.
Chair, if I could add a
Oh,
few words.
Sorry, manager, yes.
Just for me, Brian, I really thank you for the 10 years plus of service to the board. Because during this period of time, I remember when you first started that you really wanted to continue to learn about what it is to be a board member, what it is about the water industry. And I think you may have attended every annual conference of the American Water Works Association for your entire term. And I know that was motivated by you wanting to learn more about this business and learn from others in the industry so that you could bring it back to Honolulu. And I really thank you. During this period of time, you know, you supported the Water Master Plan, the Long Range Financial Plan, our long-term capital rehab plans. And those really helped us, I think, achieve a AAA bond rating that was never done before in the history of the Board of Water Supply. And that laid the basic elements or foundational pieces that helped us get to the AAA rating and actually keep the AAA rating. And the significance of that is because of that higher bond rating, we're able to command a lower interest rate on the open market. And over a long-term financing, that really saves millions of dollars for our customers because the interest charge is lower than it would be if we didn't have a AAA rating. So I just want to say mahalo, Brian, and I'm gonna miss you. I know you also taught me to try to be tactful and watch those op-eds. Yeah, I remember those years. But we lived through Red Hill when it was going crazy, and I remember meetings, you know, with the a division head from the EPA Region 9 and the Deputy Director of Health in our office, in my office, and when Red Hill was just blowing apart. Yeah, but thank you so much.
Okay, well, everyone, this is definitely quite overwhelming, as you might imagine. After 10 and a half years, 7 years as chair, I cannot be more blessed and humble, privileged, being able to serve in this capacity. I don't know that there's anything better, really. We've been through so much, so many years. And it all just goes like that. It all just passes so quickly. Some of the things that were mentioned, I even forgot about a little bit. But you know, each and every one of those accomplishments could not have been had without the team, without the people. So of all of the different challenges and accomplishments that may have been mentioned today, from the 30-year Water Master Plan, the issues with the charter 10 years ago, stairs, COVID, Red Hill, AAA bond rating, you know, you name it. It could not be possible without all of you. Board members, leadership, Ernie, Erwin, Ellen, you know, and of course, all of you, the entire team. And so I dedicate my service to all of you. And moving forward, there always will be issues. I'm hoping that no one issue will define or dominate the agency. Something as important as water that affects every aspect of everyone's life. I think what I hope to see, if I could have that indulgence to hope, is that we take care of our people, that we bring it back to the people, let the people define the agency. Because without the people, including leadership, we're not able to achieve our mission. So at every level, from the manager all the way on down, I hope that we have a renewed dedication to look at succession, to look at the future, to empower everyone who walks through this building, empower our team so that we can continue to champion the resource as well as the water delivery system that 1 million people rely upon and for generations to come.
Yep.
And so in closing, I just want to thank everyone. It's very difficult because I've gotten to know so many of you over the years, and it's difficult singling anyone out. But I just want to thank each and every one of you, Ernie especially, for your partnership. I've learned a lot as well. Again, I can't imagine how where time went. Time went by so quickly. My kids were little babies when I started. They're kind of going off to college now. But thank you. I really am blessed to have met all of you, to work with all of you, and to work together with everyone. You know,
Hello, Brian.
I'd like to come back to item requiring board action today, adoption of resolution 1007, 2025, resolution of appreciation for former board member Brian Piandaya. Is there a motion to approve?
You never did it yet?
No.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved by John. Is there a second?
Second.
And it's been seconded by Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, Timothy Panachiro,
Aye.
Board Member Chair Philo Pola,
Aye.
Board Member Lance Wareham,
Aye.
Board Member Gina Wano,
Aye.
and Chair Nalek Anthony.
Aye.
Chair, motion passes with 5 ayes.
Thank you. Please note for the record, and just also for the record, Brian, thank you so much for your leadership, for your 10 years of service, for your seeing your girls, the kids come up from small kid all the way to now graduating while you've been here, and for overseeing just like so many important things on the board. Thank you.
thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you're welcome to stay, but I know you maybe have many things to do, so either way, but thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Brian.
guys. Thank
Okay.
you.
Aloha.
Oh, Brian,
Oh, yeah. The reso. We're gonna move on to items for information. Starting with number 1, update on the Board of Water Supply's response to potential impacts. I'm gonna read this really slow so the manager can get back into Chair. Impacts of the Red Hill fuel contamination. Chair recognizes Manager Ernie Lau. Hello, Ernie.
Thank you, Chair. Joy, if you could bring that up. I'm standing in for Joyce this week, this month. She's busy monitoring the Charter Review Commission. Some recent events, we're supposed to have this subject matter experts meeting, the remediation roundtable with the EPA, Navy, and Department of Health. But that was canceled because at the time there was also the federal shutdown too. So I had to cancel it. November 19th, we did monitor an informational brief done by the Navy and the EPA and the Department of Health for that city council. Actually, we did the city council briefing ourselves. I'm sorry, misspoke. Joyce did a great job of presenting a PowerPoint presentation on the status of Red Hill, the occurrence of PFAS, the Communal Wells water treatment system. And also there was a supplemental FTAC meeting because the FTAC meeting, which was held in the Capitol Auditorium, timed out at 5:30 p.m. So supplemental meeting was held at the Department of Health's Pro City facilities because there were still public members that wanted to testify. And I appreciate the Department of Health was willing to hold a supplemental FTAC meeting at their Pro City facility. On December 11th, there was also a Red Hill open house conducted by the Navy Closure Task Force. Joyce was able to attend it. And there was some new information maybe on the UH study. So we're looking forward to connecting with some of the folks at the University of Hawaii to get more information about that. This is the dye tracer study, groundwater modeling that was supposed to be done independently by the UH, separate from the Navy. So we look forward to that consider engagement. So this is on their closure task force website, the status of tank cleaning. Also the process they're moving forward to remove the pipelines that connect the tanks, which are located about 3 miles inland from Pearl Harbor itself. There are 3 large sets of pipes that run that whole distance, so almost 9-10 miles of pipelines that need to get removed. The Navy closure supplement number 4 still is subject to revision. Department of Health and EPA did make comments on closure supplement number 4, but I haven't seen a revised supplement 4 come out from the Navy yet. Just some interesting note here. We learned that with the opening of government, they passed a concurrent resolution. As part of that, they also passed the military construction budget, which included, which is highlighted in blue, water treatment plant for Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam, 141 million, $500,000. That is the first increment, I think, of a water treatment system. I'm sorry, $141,650,000 for the water treatment system, which we think is going to be at Red Hill Shaft. We noted that earlier this year, I think the Navy put out a bid for the construction of a water treatment system, the price tag of $505 million ultimately. So we think this is maybe the first increment of the money they need to install this water treatment system, which is going to be rated at about 10 million gallons a day capacity to treat Red Hill Shaft water. And I believe the target contaminants that they're treating for is total petroleum hydrocarbons, PFAS and PFAS. So that's coming in. But this is maybe the first of 5 or 6 increments of funding that they need to do a project. We've also heard, but we haven't been able to confirm, that the Department of Health may have already approved the final design plans for this water treatment facility. I think which would make sense if they're going to put it out to bid for seeking a contractor to construct it. Upcoming events, there is a CRI meeting tomorrow night. It'll be held at the Veterans Center at Foster Village. And your public is welcome to attend. The Navy, the EPA will be present at the meeting, along with the Community Representation Initiative members. And tentatively, the Kalaeloa Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam Kalaeloa Restoration Advisory Board meeting will be held on January 14th. We're waiting on the details of the location and time. But also to note that both Joyce Lynn and myself, we're now actually non-voting members on that Restoration Advisory Board, which is made up of citizens of the area and of the island, different stakeholders. So we appreciate the Navy allowing us to serve on the board. And we hopefully will be able to learn more about what's happening in terms of cleanup at Pearl Harbor and Red Hill. And I think that's about it. Any available for questions?
Members, any questions?
Thank you.
Oh, wait, I got one. Wayne, can you go back to slide 4? This is a adjacent question.
Yeah.
In the budget schedule, it looked like Kaneohe is getting water reclamation dollars too, like $100 million, $108 million.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. That is, that's sort of the, I think it's a recycled wastewater treatment system, upgrades to their wastewater treatment plant at Marine Corps Base, Hawaii. But also converting some of that to recycled wastewater that can be used for irrigation purposes, like on the golf course. I think they're targeting to bring it up to R1 quality,
Okay.
which is going to be similar to what we produce at our Honolulu water reclamation facility too. I believe this 108 may not be the entire amount that they actually requested for, but it's a good first step toward that effort.
Okay, and this is a continuation of that conversation to say you're a large water user on the windward side. If you can go ahead and irrigate with R1, that'll alleviate some of the pressure that we're facing in windward Oahu.
On our potable water system.
Yeah, on potable water.
Yeah, just to clarify, the Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam, the Navy has their own wells and their own water system. They operate that separate from the Board of Water Supply. In Marine Corps Base Hawaii, we're the sole supplier of drinking water to the base. And the Marine Corps Base, of all of our customers on this island, they're the single largest user customer. And at times they can use maybe 20% of the demand for windward Oahu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something to keep an eye on.
Very
as well.
significant. And
Yeah.
that's why conservation, reuse of water on the base that they, from their own wastewater, using that to irrigate their golf courses and all the landscaping that areas on the base. That's important.
Okay,
Thank you.
any other comments? Thank you, Ernie.
Thanks.
And we do have one testifier, Meredith Wilson, I think is online. And she, just for board members, she did provide a written testimony as well. I'm gonna go ahead and say there's a few questions in this written testimony that I'd like to flag for staff to get a written response back to Meredith as well. But Meredith, are you there? Go ahead and
Yeah, can
unmute.
you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you okay. Thank you for making time for us today, Meredith, and you have the floor.
Thank you. Good to see you guys again. I was really happy to hear about Ernie and Joyce being involved in the Joint Bases Restoration Advisory Board. I got a chance to review the Navy's draft PFAS remedial investigation work plan. It is exhaustive, like everything else involved in all of this. So I now realize how important it is to ensure that they investigate all of the potential sources of PFAS there. Even the EPA even asked them to update their plan so that they investigate the entire Red Hill facility and not just these areas A and B that they've delineated. So I hope that they actually do that. Petroleum facilities may use PFAS-containing materials for things like vapor suppression, surfactants, smelting. So the tank galleries themselves could be a large source of PFAS, and that's something that the EPA said in their comments, not me. Although AFFF is the most major contaminant of concern there, PFAS-wise, we cannot let the Navy lead us to believe that it is the only potential source of PFAS at Red Hill. And then going back in time a little bit, just trying to remember all the things that have happened, but there's a little known about event that happened on October 26, 2021, so before, November 20th. Where a water pipeline rupture of 300,000 gallons of water mixed with 2,000 to 3,000 gallons of existing fuel at the Fuel Oil Recovery Facility, or it's called FORFAC. The Navy, by their own admission, in an OIG report, a DoD Inspector General report, estimated that at least 100,000 gallons of this fuel/AFFF/water mixture was potentially released into the environment. So we can go ahead and assume that it probably was, right? Does BWS know where this FORFAC facility or FORFAC is located? I can't find any reference to how close it may be to Red Hill Shaft. That may be on purpose. I know it's probably DCRIT or Defense Critical Infrastructure, but it's really important to know. And I didn't know if it was related to the oily waste disposal facility, which I know Ernie has spoken about many times in the past. It's kind of forgotten about because it doesn't have a fun name. But I apologize. This isn't BWS's facilities, but unfortunately, due to the lack of transparency that we experience and its potential effect on the groundwater and the public's health, I'm hoping you can familiarize me with the orientation of those locations. And then just the last question. Sorry, I'm going to throw it all at you at once. And then if you can answer, that'd be awesome. At the August 28th CRI meeting, Manager Lama mentioned that BWS provided a letter to the EPA and DOH regarding feedback on Navy's proposed reactivation of their Aya Halava shaft. I was wondering if that was available online somewhere and if there's been a response from the EPA or DOH about the BWS's concerns on the Navy turning back on this shaft. I know that they were aiming to have it back open in June, but that makes me really hesitant. I guess it's good that they haven't turned it back on, and I don't know, because there are a lot of data gaps that exist with the groundwater. I appreciate the arduous work that you guys do on the everlasting task of questioning the regulatory agencies and the Navy on all matters that affect Oahu's future. And as the saying goes, today is the tomorrow we worried about yesterday. So it all matters. Thank you for listening. Mahalo.
Yeah, thank you, Meredith. So I'm gonna have to come back and reply in writing on those three questions, and we'll be able to get something over to you, if that's okay.
Yeah, I can share maybe just what I know for now, but I need confirmation. But the Meredith, the FORFAC, I'm not sure, but on some of my visits to Red Hill, including the added one where they have the pump room, I thought I might have heard that the fuel oil recovery facility might be located near added number one, which is closer to Pearl Harbor. But please don't take that as a definite. We'll try our best to see if we can confirm that, and even to the point of reaching out to the Navy to see what they'll tell us about that location. Because you're right, that release, which I think was highlighted in the DOD Inspector General report, brought this out. But we'll check into that and get back to you. Our response to the reactivation of the Navy's Halava shaft, I believe, is on our website.
I will check.
Okay, we'll check, and if not, we'll make sure you get a copy. I thought I previously sent you a copy, but I'll check into that.
It's quite possible. I apologize. I will go back.
And in terms of the Department of Health and EPA responding to our concern, we haven't received any official response from them. Our concern was the reactivation of Navy Halava shaft, which is located across Halava Valley on the Halava side of the valley. By reactivating that, would they actually cause the migration of contamination in the aquifer to perhaps migrate faster across Halava Valley? Currently, Halava shaft, which is located on the west side of Halava Valley, is off, and the Navy's Red Hill shaft is pumping at a reduced rate to try to create a capture zone. But they plan to activate both at full capacity, ultimately to supply water to Joint Base Pearl Harbor. But we'll check and get back to you, Meredith.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I didn't realize how much the PFAS part of all of this is very intense there, and I don't think it gets enough attention. So thank you for your involvement in the RAB, because that's going to be the next big thing. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And for our newest board member, Meredith was one of the impacted families served by the water system at Joint Base Pearl Harbor and Hickam. So thank you, Meredith, for your diligence on this issue.
Mahalo. Thanks, guys.
Joey, just checking, is there anyone else that came in for late testimony on this topic?
No, Chair, no other.
Okay. With that, we'll be moving on to item for information number 2, financial update for the quarter ended in September 30, 2025. Chair recognizes Kamiko Lumkey. Good to see you again, my friend.
Good afternoon, board chair, board members. Kamiko Lumkey, Assistant Water Works Controller, standing in for Leanne Matsumoto today. Here to budget to actual for the period July to September 2025. Actual revenues came in at 93.3 million versus budgeted revenues of 83.6 million. Operating costs were 74.9 million versus a budgeted cost of 84.3. And actual net revenue was 18.4 million versus budgeted net revenue of negative 0.7 million. These are the cost drivers, again, for that year-to-date September 2025. Personnel actual was 12.2 million versus a budgeted of 14.6. Materials, supplies, and services actual 29.9 versus budget of 31.6. Equipment, 0.1 million versus budget of 0.5. Debt service came in at 11.6 million versus a budget of 12.4. And utilities actual 7.6 million versus budget of 9.6. Again, operating budget versus actual, the variance of 9.4 million is made up of from the left side of that slide, executive support office was 1.5 million over budget, followed by fixed charges of 5.7 million under budget. And then moving over to the right side, field operations, 4.4 million under budget, and water system operations, 1.3 million under budget. This pie chart shows the total operating expenditure, 74.8 million as of September 2025. The biggest part of the pie is the bottom right, materials, supplies, and services, 29.9 million or 40%, followed by the fixed charges in the upper left of 21 million or 28% of the pie. Personnel services was 12.2 million or 16%, followed by debt service in that white shaded area, 11.6 million or 16%. And equipment was 100,000 or 0%. This bar chart shows our operating expenditures by category, budget versus actual. So the actual is the, I guess, the darker shade of the bar. Personnel services, material supplies, equipment, debt service, fixed charges, all actual came under budget for the quarter. This bar chart shows our budgeted operating expenditures. So the blue bar is our actual expenditures, and the yellow shade is our budget expenditures by month. And you can see the red line cutting across from the left to right. That's our budgeted expenditures, and the darker line underneath it is the actual expenditures. So once again, you can see the actual expenditures came under budget. There's about a 11.11% difference. This bar chart shows our budgeted operating revenues. Again, for the same period, the blue shade is our revenues actual by month, and that orange bar is our budgeted revenues per month. So you can see that the actual revenues came in above the budget. And then you see that, I guess that blue line cutting across from the bottom left to top right. That's our cumulative and actual. And then the orange line underneath it is our budget. So again, you have about 11.65% difference between actual and budget. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any comments or questions.
Members, any questions?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Could you, I just wanted to comment, when we did the rate study and we did the 5-year plan, I mean, that was keeping up with our expenditures, but it seems like we're getting into a pretty healthy cash position, right? And I think it's important maybe next quarter if we can revisit the minimum days working. Because that was the main metric that drove us to decide the rates on working capital. And I just want to be cognizant if it gets too high and we have a big safety net, maybe we gotta look at, I mean, if there's a private operating company, you'd be doing well, but we just want to make sure we do right by the ratepayers and we can allocate capital to hiring, to keep up with our CapEx or whatever we're doing, just to be cognizant of it. Because I know we're kind of in a dangerously trending path when we started the rate study, and now it seems to be that we're probably way in the green, the trending at the capital. So just want to put that comment now, and we kind of track it as we go forward.
Yeah, thank you. Just to put it in perspective too, when we do our rate study, we have to kind of project out what the revenue growth would be. But revenue is hinged, ties directly to water usage. So it depends on also how wet a year or how dry a year we have. So in the last, I think in the last 18 months, only 5 or 6 months were at normal or above normal in the Honolulu watershed area, where a lot of our customers live. So demand for water, and when we get to Barry's report on the groundwater status of groundwater, you'll see that the water usage for this entire year and actually tracked higher than the 5-year monthly average and higher than last year's. So when water usage is up, when it's dry, we generate more revenue. When water usage is down, like if it rains a lot, then we have actually lower revenues that come in. So I was kind of wondering about that too, the amount of revenue, but I think there's a correlation to weather also.
Yeah, I think past that, yeah.
Yeah,
It's hard
so
to-
when we do the 5-year rate study, we have to make some assumptions on that, but it's hard to predict when it's gonna be dry, when it's gonna be wet,
Yeah,
right now. But the other aspects is expenditures on our side to at least the budget amount. So every year, we ask our divisions and offices, when the board adopts the annual budget, to actually project out what their expenditures would be for each quarter of the year going forward. So they make their best guess at the estimate of how they're gonna expend the money over the fiscal year, 4 quarters. Our fiscal year starts July 1st of each year and ends on June 30th the following year. The other aspects of this, I'm not trying to make any excuses, but when we get into the beginning of the first year, the first quarter it's really challenging to actually complete all the procurement actions within the first 3 months of the fiscal year. And so that becomes some of the challenges, but we'll go back and every year when the board adopts the budget, when we go back to the divisions and ask for a quarterly expenditure plan. We'll try to sharpen the pencil on yeah, but I think, John, your point about tracking how much money we have in terms of working capital, uncommitted funds at the end of the fiscal year. Yeah, we monitor that very closely and take that into consideration, I think, going forward for the next year, 5-year period, to try to moderate some of the rate increases. I do appreciate the board's support for the rate increases that we had. I know at the time we also had kind of almost runaway energy costs. The cost of doing business it's really getting expensive rapidly. And based on the assumptions from the 5-year rate study that was done a number of years before that, our expenses were going above what we had projected. So we were getting very thin. And that's usually the case from my experience in the beginning of a 5-year period. We might be in better shape, but the other half of the 5-year period, we may actually be running a little more lean.
yeah.
But you're absolutely right. We want to keep water rates affordable, and that is a kind of a challenge of our business.
Members, any other comments, questions? Maybe just another comment, Ernie, on that. I mean, I agree with everything you said, and I appreciate John's question. And right at the end, before we raised the rates, right, the cost of energy was like, really, really
Very bad.
and we were losing money every month because we had less budgeted than what it was costing us, and so we saw a lot of red in that same kind of same deck, but just a few years earlier. One of the things that I'm also reminded of that Ernie, you didn't mention is that when Ray was here, she kind of like beat us all into submission with respect to how many pens and shirts and cars and trucks and tractors and everything we could have. And I really appreciate that about her, because she was very like fiscally kind of, stringent on these things because we were in such a tight spot. And, I don't think that, how many polo shirts Ernie Lau gets every year is really going to help us get to our goals in terms of how many miles of pipe have to be laid down. But we do want to make sure that we have the tools we need to do the work ahead of us. I know like the bulk of that is, I think it's the next presentation. Yes, it is the next presentation, and making sure we have the right people and staff in place to be able to monitor all of this work and the CIP that goes out and the engineering staff to do the due diligence, but it's also the guys have the right excavator to dig the hole in the middle of the night when the main breaks, and that they have all these tools. And so in the lean times, we really do appreciate how lean it runs. And when there's a little bit more, I would encourage everyone to make sure you have what you need to do the job well, because the task, we never reached the 21 miles of pipe a year, right? As the goal. And that's not a criticism. It's just say like, there's still work to do. There's still, maintenance that has to be done to make sure the system runs well. And so it is a careful balance. I will leave it to the experts to figure out kind of where those dollars have to deploy. Like, we have enough pens, Ernie has enough shirts, his car is like 15 years old or whatever it is, but there's also like all of this other stuff that I know departments may need to actually like deploy the work. So that fine balance is something that we're interested in to make sure that it all clicks and works properly as well.
Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
Another aspect too is that, we have the ability to sell revenue bonds, and I think prior to this, we're selling revenue bonds on an annual basis.
Yeah.
But then we looked at the utilization of those revenue bonds, and also with the growing amount of rate revenue that we had, to actually consciously make a decision not to sell revenue bonds, in a year, and maybe kind of skip the year to actually use rate revenue and put it to work for our customers by working to improve the water system with that money too.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So we kind of moderate,
Yeah.
and we're looking forward to also watching our long-term debt service
Yeah,
profile,
thank you.
for our utility, trying to keep that as level as we can instead of seeing spikes there, large spikes. But it is, I just want to thank our fiscal staff, our finance division, our executive support office on the budgeting and the thought that goes into it. Affordability is always front of mind for us, and it is a struggle.
That service piece certainly is really important. I know Fed came down like a quarter point or something last week, and that's helpful. And the AAA rating by former member Andaya, just like shepherding us. We're the only one in the state, right, with AAA as a state or county entity. Like, that's really important to keep that cost down. But as the interest rates did that too, when the electricity was doing that, that was really throwing the program off as well. So we appreciate the mindfulness as to like how you deploy those dollars and what the costs are associated with those dollars long term.
Yeah,
Something to keep an eye on.
it requires constant watching.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No more questions. Felico, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kaliko.
Thanks for sitting in for Leah. Appreciate it. Moving on to item number 3, recruitment status. Chair recognizes Michelle Thomas. It's good to see you in person, Michelle. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon, board chair, board members. I'm here, Michelle Thomas, Chief of Human Resources for the Board of Water Supply, here to provide you with the recruitment status update for the period of July 2025 through September 2025. For the period of July 2025 through September 2025, we had 12 new hires, 5 promotions, 1 demotion, 1 transfer, 11 separations, and 2 canceled requests. As you can see in your board materials with the data that we provided, we had quite a bit of activity this last quarter. We did also actually have quite a bit of activity in the second quarter, which you'll hear about in the next recruitment status update. But this is a small presentation just to talk to you about highlighting some of the various different ongoing recruitment and retention efforts that we've done at the Board of Water Supply. So we continue to make concerted efforts in recruitment. We're continuing to work with the community partners and participate in a variety of events to promote our vacancies. We participated in 2 major hiring events in coordination with the city and county and the state. On July 30th, 2025, we attended the Hawaii Career Expo, which is sponsored by the city, the state, and the Star Advertising. We had a great turnout at that event. On September 2020, September 26, 2025, we also attended the UH Career Engineering Career Expo. This is one of the biggest and best recruiting events of the year for the BWS to engage in conversation and providing information regarding job opportunities for new and upcoming engineers across all industries. And we tried to participate in both the spring and in the fall sessions. Additionally, we continue to promote our various employment opportunities through our social media, thanks to our communications office, who's led by Kathleen, through our industry partners, including at the recent HWWA annual conference, which was held by the BWS on October 15th through October 17th in Coahuila. Our social media posts have recently shown a significant boost in engagement with the community, thanks to the variety of posts that they have been doing in marketing through our communications office. In an effort to boost more awareness of the career opportunities at the K through 12 level, the BWS has also been participating in high school and college career fairs at various different high schools. In October, we participated in two, one at Lele Hua High School on October 22nd and one at Waipahu High School on October 27th. At the events, local students had a chance to talk to BWS staff and explore the different options available to them in the water industry. They had a chance to ask questions of BWS staff and take notes on careers and opportunities that interested them. In turn, the BWS was able to showcase entry-level job opportunities available at the BWS and expose those students to potential career options in both white-collar and blue-collar careers in the water industry. We had a few different staff from the various different divisions that actually attended on our behalf. And I believe, Ernie, you attended one of those.
Vallejo High School.
Yeah. If you'd like to join us at the next event, we plan to participate in the city-sponsored Hawaii Career Expo. Again, also partnered with the Star Advertiser, which will be on January 28th, 2026 at the Neil Blaisdell Center. There will be a variety of jobs that will be featured for the BWS, all of which will be civil service. There will also be a couple that will be contract as well. Some of those positions include the program administrator and assistant program administrator for our field operations and our water system operations divisions, accountants at various different levels, civil engineers at various different levels, construction inspectors and aides, customer service representatives, our IT specialists, and many other positions. Representatives of our leadership team will be in attendance to provide their perspectives on what working at the BWS is like, and will encourage other job seekers to apply. So if any of you folks are interested in joining us, please let me know. And we can always, the more the merrier to showcase our opportunities. That concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Thank you. Members, any questions? Is there anything, I ask this every time, but is there anything that you feel like is working more than the others that rolls out as an opportunity to just gather up more folks and get them through the pipeline?
I think that right now, us engaging in a variety of different media is really what's working, because we're finding that certain individuals like to, click through our advertisements on social media. Others like the in-person engagement. And so we've been trying to do a variety of different opportunities in order for us to get the information out there. And just recently with us going out to high schools, it's really us kind of digging deeper. So that way we're exposing them earlier and that they might be more interested in applying for our jobs. Unfortunately, right now, with the way the government, federal government is going, there's a lot of uncertainty in a lot of businesses and such. And so a lot of folks are kind of hugging their jobs right now and not wanting to move on to other things. So we are still having a challenge of filling those more skilled positions. But hopefully we're thinking by advertising and putting us out there more with the community that they may be more encouraged to apply with us.
Yeah, I mean, I know it'll take some time, so maybe this is up for next quarter's discussion, but like there's also all those displaced federal workers, there's a number of displaced Hawaiian Air, now Alaska Airlines workers. I'd be curious to see if any of the methods that we try to interface with those folks has resulted in any uptake for us, that is moving in the positive direction.
So we have actually worked directly with the city to potentially look at displaced Hawaiian Airlines workers as well as federal workers, and have participated in events for those. For the federal workers, I know that we had at least one individual who came from the federal government, but then unfortunately he's no longer with us again because he was able to get another opportunity at the same time. Then as far as the Hawaiian Airlines one was concerned, we did actually do some interviews. However, they didn't pan out for us as the type of skills that we need
See.
for us. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Other questions? Okay, thank you, Michelle. Appreciate you coming out today.
Thanks, Michelle.
Okay, moving on to item for information number 4, schedule of monthly board meetings for calendar year 2026. Ernie, you gonna do it or Joy gonna do it? Ernie?
I can do it.
Has your name next to it, but Okay.
Well, you see in the report, what we do every year is, at the end of the year, we start to look ahead, and these are the dates that we selected for the board meetings, next year, 2026. Can you please let, Joy, our board secretary, know those dates, work for us, work for you or not? Because it's really important that we have quorum, and for a 7-member board, we need at least 4 board members, either in person in the room or via remote like Lance and Jean are today. But it's important to meet quorum because we want to hold a board meeting every month. Last month, we couldn't make quorum and had to cancel the meeting last month. But I do want to say, I understand that board members, you're serving at a very high rate of compensation of $0. As volunteers, I do appreciate you taking the time out of your busy lives to serve on the board and give back to our community. But please let Joy know for those dates if you are able to make it or unable to make it. Then we can start, if necessary, and we don't have quorum, but we can hunt for another date within that month to hold a board meeting. Usually it's Joy, is it the 4th Monday of the month?
4th Monday, and then December is normally the 2nd Monday.
Because of the holidays, yeah. And it's always at 2:00 in the afternoon. There's also important if we can have a quorum at the annual budget workshop. That is the opportunity for the board to preview the draft budget. And from that feedback, and we revise the budget and come back to the board later that month in May, on May 26th for the final adoption. Our fiscal year begins on July 1st of each year. And so it's important before the close of the fiscal year that the board adopt a budget that they feel comfortable with. And this is for the operating and capital improvement program budgets.
yeah, if I could just add, it's been a really, I think, a huge luxury to be able to come into these meetings virtually, and we want to make sure that that option is still available. And we are still down, if I count right, 1 board member.
Yeah.
So we are waiting to get to 7, which keeps, it makes it a little bit easier to stay at 4 for quorum. Last month, I think, was the first time since I've been on the board that we actually missed a meeting because of quorum. We don't want to put that at anybody's feet. It's like, this is, first of all, volunteer, and secondly, people are really, really busy, and we want the ones who are really busy, who are, doing good things in the community and fit into the kind of the multifaceted approach of how the board members are kind of lined up. We're looking for a lawyer. If anyone knows anyone who has, a little bit of free time, we are looking for someone who could provide us with some law expertise. But if you can make note of these, and then Joy, you're going to send these out, yeah?
Yeah, so
As
I'm gonna
invites?
invites, just FYI, the May 26th meeting is a Tuesday and not a Monday because of the holiday.
Oh, thank you. Let me make a note of that. That's important. As we schedule these things. Joy, we appreciate and welcome the updates and hey, are you going to come to the meeting? So Joy is emailing about a week out. Hey, coming via Zoom or in person. She's doing the quorum count to make sure we can have the meeting. So it's important that if you guys can just answer, and if there's some uncertainty, like I'm supposed to be remote today, I messaged them first thing in the morning, said, no, I'm gonna be in person. So they can set the room and just like make sure that they can program how they want the meeting to run. As you can tell, staff runs a very tight ship in a hybrid meeting environment. Like this is honestly one of the best hybrid meeting environments that I've ever. Where's Stella? Make sure she hears this, like that we run around in, where we can communicate freely between folks online and folks in the room. And we really appreciate that kind of freedom. So it's just helpful if we know if people are going to be here or not, and what version, either in person or online. So
Yeah, just,
thanks.
and just a reminder, if you do appear remotely, I think you need to have your camera on at all times.
Yeah.
To participate in this. Thank you. Thank you, Gene and Lance.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. And yeah, we just appreciate the flexibility to be able to do both. If there's other questions or comments, and also too, you guys can follow up via email if there's like, you're not going to be here for meetings for any of those Mondays or the one Tuesday, just let us know, and then we can flag that to make sure we have quorum. Okay. Moving on to item for information number 5. Barry, I think you were walking in here as I was saying it, but the Olelo No'ea was specifically for you today. I'm going to reread it after I say what number 5 is. Status update of groundwater levels at all index stations. This is not at all a scolding that you were walking in while I was reading my thing, but Kawapo'o Nui o Ke Kuahiwi, the big-headed rain of the mountain. That is not in reference to you, by the way. But all the rain which falls in fine, icy cold drops that make one's head appear white. So we want that kind of rain that is clinging to the leaves and the ground and is misty to give us an opportunity for that rain to fall through into the watershed to become our water that we drink.
I believe that's lock up
Yes, sir. That is right. Laka.
and my hair getting whiter.
All of ours, increasingly so every day.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Chair and members. The December report for the low groundwater. We have 9 aquifer index stations in low groundwater condition as of October. This is 2 months behind because of the I guess the meeting.
We missed the November meeting.
Yeah, we missed the November meeting. Thank you. So there are Britannia, Kalihi, Moanalua, Pro City, Waipahu, Kalunui, Wailua are in caution. And I'll explain what that is. And Kaimuki and Honolulu are in alert. I do have the November report before me as well. It's still 9 aquifers the same. The monthly production average for October was 145 million gallons per day. In November, it dropped to 137. Rainfall for October was 53% of normal, and the 5-month moving average was 55%. In November, the rainfall increased to 92%, 5-month moving average 58. The drought monitor in October was abnormally dry conditions across most of Oahu, grading to moderate drought on the leeward side, which is typical. The National Weather Service is still forecasting above normal precipitation beginning November through March, and we just had a nice soaking rain over the last couple of days. Hopefully nobody got flooded. Most monitoring wells exhibited slightly decreasing head levels for October. They stabilized in November. And the average monthly production for October was slightly higher than October in the same month last year, as well as our 5-year monthly average. So if we could scroll through, and yeah, that's the rainfall for this is the annual rainfall that we have since a year and a half. And then for board member Laola, the squiggly line there, that's the 5-month moving average. When that line drops down to the 80% or below, that's when we're starting to really hit drought conditions. When that line and the red line is our normal, that's our index. So that's our normal rainfall level. And every month is relative to that red line. The 5-month moving average fluctuates, but when it drops to 80 below that, we know we're in a drought condition. Subsequent, but when it's high above normal rainfall, when it's above the red line, we're in good shape. Okay, so if you could scroll down to the monthly production, as we were seeing earlier through the financial report, the blue line was basically the 2025 monthly production is above the gray line, which is the
Your monthly.
5-year monthly average. Sorry, it's very blurry to me. And then the green line is last year's 2024. So it was a hotter year than normal. Pumpage was up. And that attributed to in the last 3 months there from August to October. When the production is up, the revenues are up as well. So yeah, this is the Hawaii Drought Monitor. So they monitor, it's all in graded colors. When we start getting to the red areas, we're very much into exceptional droughts, but on Oahu, it's yellow to orange, abnormally dry. But this is updated weekly, and we include that as a means to understand the trend in rainfall across the island and in what condition it is in. And as you're getting to the winter months, it's important then to, as production decreases, that we have a winter pumpage schedule. So that the wells that because we monitor this on a 12-month moving average, we hit certain sources a little bit harder during summer to meet that higher demand. But it's important then those sources that we hit a little bit harder, we need to rest them in the winter. And when the rains come and the pumpage goes down because demand goes down, those are the sources that we want to make sure that we reduce them so that we allow them to recover so that they can then yield higher levels during the next summer. And so it's just managing the aquifer and the demand as it goes up and down. So that's how we did. That's my report.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Maybe just a comment, Barry. Earlier this week, I listened to this podcast, the Better Tomorrow series, it's a Hawaii-made podcast, and they had Chip Fletcher on, who's one of the top climate scientists in Hawaii, and he went for an hour, and it was just like packed with all this information, and there was like this one vertical that you've talked about before in terms of like just a little bit hotter days and a little less trade winds and how that's affecting our water. And then he was talking about sea level rise and how that is interacting with both wastewater as well as groundwater, as well as infrastructure. And I would encourage everyone to go and take a listen to it. It's an hour long, but it has like all this information packed into it. And it's and he did a really good job of just being able to wrap into kind of just a few succinct thoughts, some of the challenges that we're facing. And I was thinking about you as listening to it because we're in this dynamic time, like your index at 100 with the number being so low means, oh, maybe the index is changing, right?
Index will change.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and then how it is that we then define what is the sustainable yield over time. Like you've talked about that in previous meetings. It's like, one, the Better Tomorrow speaker series is really good, but also to just really appreciate the way that you're able to take really complex stuff and like give it to us in 10 minutes in these meetings. So thank you.
Yeah. And we do interact with Chip Fletcher. He's been very instrumental, especially in his sea level rise modeling.
The modeling is
which we are helping him with some research to expand. The latest one is to expand our tidal groundwater well network around the island because we want to understand where the water levels are because they are immersing our infrastructure in salt water in some places, right? So we want to.
I am constantly thinking about the 36-inch pipe coming down Honolulu past my house that's going to be sitting in salt water if it is not already. That will
That's
affect
under high pressure.
high pressure and will affect Daniel's ability to do his job effectively if we're sitting that thing in a pond of salt water. So.
Which is a good segue. Thank you very much.
Which is a good segue. Thank you, Barry, Water main repair report for October and November 2025. Chair recognizes Daniel Lee. I heard you came with pictures.
We have a picture for y'all, Chairs.
Listen, you get extra credit for pictures. We like pictures. If you come in with the actual section of pipe, like one of your predecessors did, you get a cupcake, but the picture, you can have a cupcake too.
Good afternoon, board chair and members. I'm Daniel Lee, acting assistant program administrator for field operations. I have both the October and November water main and leak detection reports. For the month of October, we had 46 main breaks, 13 were leaks, 32 were breaks, and there was 1 damage. For the leak detection report, we had 66 points of interest, found 57 leaks, 2 main leaks. 40 were meter coupling leaks, 11 leaks on the customer side, and 4 service leaks. There are any questions for the October? So this is the main break that happened on October 21st on Dole Street. As you can see, we have the 20-inch water main, that's the lower level. The 24 is up on the left. It's just about 4 feet above. We have to support it with blocks to keep it from falling down into the main, onto the 20-inch main. Where the excavator is, it's removing some large boulders. That was one of the issues that we had when we were trying to put in our box shielding to keep our workers safe before we entered the hole. If you look at the back of the green dump truck, you can just make out the large boulder that's in there. So they were fairly big. And we did talk about the HECO line that was crossing the trench. It's in the lower left of the picture. It's that concrete jacketed line that feeds the park, and we had to call HECO to come and de-energize that.
I have so many questions.
So
So can you like describe the scene for the 20-inch main? Like what is the yellow thing? And then is that like did the pipe split laterally?
yes, so the yellow thing is one of our transition repair couplings. When we go from cast iron pipe to duct iron pipe, the outside diameter is different. So this coupling will allow us to connect the 2 different sides of the pipe. And in this case, it did break from our last repair with that yellow coupling towards the east. So it blew off the top of the water main going into the trench wall.
You have a guess on the age of that repair?
Well, so the former repair was still good. The part that broke was the original pipe.
I see.
Cast iron.
Cast iron.
Cast iron.
That iron ductile stuff is stronger.
It's a newer pipe material.
A newer version of cast iron. The cast iron is 1928.
It's about there, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not the oldest pipe we have in the system.
That's almost 100 years old.
Yeah.
Big shear. That's a big shear fracture on.
Yeah, it's like it blew out.
This is very helpful. The picture. Thank you for bringing it. Members, any questions, comments? Oh, you have more for us?
Well, on the red truck right there, you can see the box shoring that we have to put into the excavation. When they first measured it, we tried to put that one in. But we found that when we took out the boulders, it changed the dynamic of the hole. We had to reorder one that fit. Because you don't want it collapsing when someone's in there. Yeah.
How many days worth of open hole is that?
It went from the afternoon of the 21st. The repairs were completed the afternoon of the 22nd, the evening, and then the repaving of the road lasted until early morning hours of the 23rd.
And something I guess you just run 24 hours.
We just run 24 hours, yeah. We just keep rotating in the crews and the supervisors.
And with the force of water, you can see the road is kind of moved upwards, kind of not flat anymore.
It buckled several hundred feet of roadway that we had to repave.
That's the water moving, trying to find its way up and out and all that. Yeah.
And the pressure.
Yeah.
Water is amazing, an amazing force.
So you guys will scrape all that and repave all that, or are you just gonna repave the section and then wait for Ed to come in and?
We had our paving contractor come in, their emergency procurement. We looked at everywhere that was damaged and they came with their co-planers, removed all the damaged asphalt and repaved everything.
Oh,
Damage.
yeah, super helpful. Thank you for bringing the show and tell.
There's a pipeline replacement, yeah. Schedule.
Yeah, you know, this, so in this area, we've had, I think, 3 or 4 breaks over at least my time here at the board. So there's a project that's, we're looking at to get into design I think it's in design, right now, for the replacement of, this 1928 water line. This 20-inch water line is part of our high service transmission system. So the pipe is connected to reservoirs the top of the reservoirs are about 405 feet above sea level. And because of that, the pressure in this pipeline is pretty substantial. The pipe next to it, if you could use your cursor, the 24-inch is part of our low service system, where the top of the reservoir is about 180 feet above sea level. We vary the elevations of the reservoir depending on where our customers live, how high above sea level they are. So the higher reservoirs serve the customers like greater than 80 something feet above sea level to about 300 feet or so above sea level. But it runs from Kalihi all the way out to Kaniki. Yeah.
Wow.
So with a break of this size, you had also portions of Kaniki, Palolo run out of water too.
They experienced low water pressure until we isolated and stabilized the system.
So, you know, I want to thank field operations. They worked hard on this, but also behind the scene is our water system operations division, because this break also cut off the supply to provide water up the higher parts of St. Louis Heights. So they had to, just beyond this is a street to, is that Hokulani Elementary School? Or
Yes.
that road to Hokulani Elementary School, there was a portable diesel powered pump or gas powered pump that water system operations hooked up to send water from the low service system to the higher customers on the higher elevations in St. Louis Heights. So they had water yet.
They stayed just as long as we do out there also.
Yeah, and they, had to man that continuously. So it's really a team effort. The work continues until the repair is done and water service is back on for our customers. So there are a lot of people making that happen, all behind the scenes. And then this main break came in about 2 o'clock in the afternoon or so.
It came in the afternoon.
First report of water. A lot of times it's like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., midnight, and getting the crews. I appreciate our field staff and our water system operational staff. They respond.
Yeah, thank you. And please thank the rest of the gang who does his work. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Any other questions, comments? Oh, you're gonna do November too?
I will do
Oh,
November.
oh my, keep going.
For the month of November, we had 22 main breaks, 7 were leaks, 15 were breaks, and there were no damages. Leak detection report, we had 53 points of interest, found 45 leaks, 1 main leak, 26 were meter coupling leaks, 12 leaks on the customer side, and 6 service leaks. Are there any questions on the November report?
No pictures for November.
No, nothing significant.
Okay, Daniel, thank you for your time today and for being as patient as you've been with the whole meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.
So I know we have this, if the need arises, we can go into executive. I don't believe we had anything flagged for executives, so, and the minutes are still in coming back from notes, so we don't have that. So is there any other business that we have to tend to today? Hearing none, that brings us to the end of our regular board agenda. And there is no other business, and so I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. Lance, I think I heard you say something too. Can you second for us?
Sure.
Okay.
Adjourn, sure.
Thank you. It's been moved by John and seconded by Lance. All in favor, say aye.
Hi,
Aye.
enthusiastically,
opposed?
aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are officially adjourned for our last meeting of the year.